So Kris, thank you very much for making time to share your insights into the future of leadership.
Nick, thank you very much for having me on your program. I feel very honored and excited to share some of my thoughts with your listeners.
Now, Kris, before we go into the future, can you share a little bit about your own backgrounds? Where did you grow up?
Well, so I'm Ghanaian by birth, and I grew up in Accra. I grew up on the campus of the University of Ghana because my dad was a lecturer. And so for basically up till and until I was 18, that was my local stomping ground, Accra, Ghana. And then after that, I moved to Kenya at 19.
So Kris, what was your dream career when you grew up?
So interestingly, I always wanted to be in marketing. I wanted to build brands.
Yeah.
I thought, creating a concept, a product, branding it, and going to market was very exciting. Just the whole consumer behavior, the purchase. I was very excited about branding and marketing when I was growing up. I have never really been a marketing manager, although I'm a chartered marketer. But of course, I've grown a lot of brands, both the ones that I built bottom up, the ones I've invested in, and where I have worked. So yeah, I was always excited about marketing.
So Kris, who inspired you in your early days?
Oh, I would say inspiration that came from many places. I'm a Pan-Africanist. I totally, and I'm an Afro-optimist also. And so I've always believed in Africa. Kwame Nkrumah was one of my first inspirations. Mandela is also one of my inspirations. And Chinua Achebe, the writer. Those would be three external, but internally will be. My dad is one of those people who totally liberated my mind to give me an independent thinking mind, to be able to think beyond any boxes or borders. And so I would say from a home front or from locally will be my dad, but then people who I don't know close but inspired me would be those three.
And Kris, today you are the managing director of Telkom Kenya. Can you tell us a little bit about your portfolio?
Yes. My portfolio spans basically about 52% of the total business of the company, and it's all the business that we transact with the corporates and the government. The non-consumer business that's the portfolio. So we come up with unique solutions to help in government digitization. We help on the health sector, the education sector in terms of getting that online, especially now with COVID and all students learning from home. We're a very integral part of that ecosystem. And we also, my portfolio encompasses consulting with the government on helping them and their departments become more automated and serve the people of Kenya better.
And Kris, you're also a techpreneur and you're invested in tech startups. Can you maybe share some of the highlights in your techpreneur career?
Well, I think my techpreneur career pretty much kicked off from 2001 as I joined two other brothers, the Somen brothers, to kick off the start of one of the local ISPs called Access Kenya. We grew it, and after 6 years, we took it to the stock exchange. We sold part of it, and then we ran it as a quoted company for 5 years, and we sold it to Dimension Data, actually. So that's how we exited. Yeah. And then with the funds from there, I started investing in a lot of fintechs, edutechs, and health tech businesses. Today, the portfolio for BlackRock Investments in Kenya has over 14 tech companies in it. And we keep on looking in that area to see where we can assist local entrepreneurs make their dreams come true.
And Kris, looking back over your career, what would you say was a major turning point in your leadership journey?
I think that would be when I became managing director of Access Kenya in 2008, because that was like I said before, it was a quoted company. And so that was a very big portfolio with a lot of pressure to report numbers to the market every quarter. But I must say that was when my turning point began, because I recognized that what I do, what I say, the decisions I make impact a lot of people, the different stakeholders, shareholders, the board, the employees, the clients. And so that was a major turning point.
And Kris, what would you say is driving you today?
Impact. I am all I do, all my focus is on impact. I want to have massive impact to the underserved and unserved communities where they don't have connectivity and communication services. So we're working very hard with the government to ensure that we cover the whole country, and such that let's leave no school kid behind when it comes to education. Let's leave no patient behind when it comes to healthcare services in the arid and semi-arid areas of the country. And lastly, agriculture is another area that I'm trying to impact, trying to get technology to help the farmers get a good price for the produce. Because in most of Africa, you realize agriculture is about 45 to 60% of the economy. And so if we can get agriculture right, then we're going to start solving some of Africa's problems of unemployment and underemployment.
So in a way, you're closing the digital gap, all right?
I'm closing the digital gap for different stakeholders and different verticals in the market.
Now, Kris, talking about leadership, what does the future of leadership mean to you?
The future of leadership to me is about people embracing technology. Technology in itself is not disruptive. It's when companies or brands refuse to go with the times and provide convenience for the clients, then technology comes and disrupts. So future leadership is about leaders understanding how to leverage technology. It's about understanding the type of new skills and new talent that is needed. People with totally different mindset. People who believe that work is something you do, not a place you go. And they understand that the world is now flat and companies can hire from anywhere. And so it's all about meritocracy. Leadership in the future is very global, again, because of this, because what has happened in this short 2-3 months period of COVID, it would have taken us 2 or 3 years to get the world this digitized. But the pandemic has made a lot of changes, fundamental changes to the way we work, to the way we engage, the way we interact. And so the future of leadership has to take cognizance of the fact that the world has changed. I also think it's about reinventing certain business models. It's about refreshing, re-engaging, and reinventing. That's what the future of leadership is about.
And Kris, looking back over your own leadership journey, what have you learned from your own journey that you consider most important for building future leaders?
I think future leaders should always be hungry for success. But that success, it's not blind ambition. It has to come with the mentality that I'm going to work hard for it. I think future leaders have to be ready to work hard and work smart for it. They need to be hungry for knowledge, for growth, for new challenges. I think I have a saying that says we need to use our tentacles in ratio. You know, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we listen more and we talk less. To be a good leader, that's a very important attribute, to learn to listen. Also, I believe in reading. I believe in exposure. I think to be a good leader, you need to be a good reader. Reader of people, reader of books, and to read into situations. So those would be the things that I think to help build leadership. And also to keep your eyes on the triple bottom line, the people, the planet, and the profits, not just the profits.
And Kris, when you speak to aspiring leaders, what is it you tell them about social media? How should they handle and navigate social media to build their own leadership brand?
First of all, I don't think there's any secret formula. Social media is about top of mind awareness. Businesses and their leaders should, they need to get the desired or rather preferred target audience, and they need to speak to them authentically. The challenge with social media is that it's very easy to tell when someone is speaking from the heart and from their mind, when they're being themselves and when they've had a bunch of people to push their stuff. So I think authenticity is very critical in social media, but ultimately there's no secret formula. It's about top of mind awareness. Social media is also about reciprocity. Typically, if you are an expert in a particular area, you see people in that area or interested in that area tend to follow you. But I think authenticity is critical, and future leaders need to decide which platforms they want to use for what. I use Facebook typically for personal stuff, but LinkedIn is very serious. I put out a couple of articles on my thoughts. And then I use Twitter for the very short things I want to react to if I do. But I'm not on Instagram, and I'm not on some of the other more visual media, because I don't think those work for my brand or what they don't represent what I espouse.
And Kris, what is your advice for future leaders? What are some of the biggest challenges they are likely to encounter in their career?
I think the first advice I can give, the best advice I can give is about embracing change, because the world in which we are today and the world in which we're going to exist tomorrow, it's all about adaptability. Genuinely, it is not the strongest or the most intelligent species which will survive. It's the most adaptable. And so the ability to translate a fantastic strategy on paper into action The ability to put up your hands and say, I made a mistake. My idea was not the best. Your idea is better. Let's go with yours. The ability to remain humble while successful. And above all, because a lot of big or top companies or growing companies are going to have workforces all over the globe, all over the continent, the ability to delegate work to the right teams and the right people across multiple geographies. Those are the type of challenges, and those are the type of skills that future leaders have to be cognizant of, or to have for themselves, because those are the challenges they're going to have. Yes.
And Kris, talking about the new skills that future leaders need to learn, can you maybe share a couple of these new skills that you would advise future leaders to learn?
I wouldn't really call them new. I think all that's happening is that there has to be a focus on a couple of them, which are more integral and critical now moving forward. Relationship building being one of them. The ability to build an influence base. A lot of times leaders think, or leaders want to use their positional power or authority to get things done, as opposed to understanding how to build consensus through alignment and thereby influencing the outcomes that they want. So relationship building, consensus building, better communication skills, because we're going to be working a lot more on digital platforms, and authenticity. I think that's a very critical bit, because employees and staff are always ready, willing to follow an authentic leader.
Right. And Kris, as a mentor to future leaders, can you maybe share a success story or two where you mentored an upcoming leader and that person took your advice to heart?
Yes, definitely. So one of my mentees is just about to get her PhD. And when I met her 4 years ago, she was a bit stuck in the middle of her career. She had been in the same position for about 3 years, no challenge. She felt demotivated, low package, and she was considering basically moving out of public health to move to just go do some business. And we went through what I call my analysis of the situation, and just to understand what it is that makes her tick and what it is that she might want to do, the impact she wants to leave, the legacy she wants to leave on the earth. And once we build the future, once we build the mental picture of what the future could be, I was able to get her to go back to work, quit that particular job in 3 months, get a better job, which was a consultancy, so she got time for herself, and enroll in a PhD, the top best PhD on public health in the UK. And yes, 4 years down the line, she's got more time for the family. She's got more time, enough time to do her PhD. She's still working through her PhD and getting paid much better money. And that's one of my major success stories. And yeah, Judy is just fabulous. We've come from far, and we still have more miles to go before we sleep, but we're progressing. We've progressed very much.
And Kris, you touched already on some role models of leadership. In your career, who have you encountered that you would really recommend future leaders should study?
Oh, I would say Lou Gessner of IBM. He's got a book which it's called "Who Says Elephants Can't Dance?"
Right.
And I think between him and Jack Welch will be two very good people to study. Those are both from the US. Coming home, I believe Aliko Dangote in Nigeria. And I would say in Kenya, James Mwangi would be two leaders, business leaders that people could read on, because I think they've both impacted the business, the corporate world, and their countries and Africa very much.
So Kris, how can our listeners connect with you, and where should they follow you?
I'm on Twitter at Kris Senanu. I have a website, krissenanu.africa, and I'm also on LinkedIn. Those are my three basic platforms.
And last but not least, Kris, is there one piece of advice that you would really like to convey to future leaders that they should implement in their own life?
Think about when you're gone, what do you want people to say about you? What do you want people to remember about you? I think if you start with the end in mind, if you start with a purpose in mind, you won't go wrong. If you focus on the impact on people, the end result of what you're doing or what you're going for, you won't go wrong. That's my advice. To be patient and to focus on the bigger picture.
Kris, thank you so much for sharing your insights and your wisdom into the future of leadership and reminding us that it is all about impact and legacy.
Nick, thank you very much for having me on your program. I believe we need more of such programs in Africa to get more African leaders understanding what it takes to build a wonderful continent for us and our children and our children's children. Asante sana.
Thank you.